Hi everyone. I will try to explain you what's happening here. All right? Okay, let's go. So you've been for a tiny bit here. So here is the general meeting place and the cafe for the venue. It's the more accessible place also for people coming from the neighborhood and from across the town. But let's go and see the rest of the space. This building is an historic building, and it used to be the most famous weekly magazine in Greece. It used to be so popular, and they would refer it as the early ages TV for the Greek society. So it was really, really popular. They used to sell something like 200,000 copies a week. The most recent successful magazine I know doesn't sell more than 10,000, so it's a lot. It was called Romantso, so you can see also the signs that have been restored outside the building if you take a look later when you leave. We try to restore the old signage of the building. In here, they used to accommodate the printer house. In this place here, we're doing mostly events, meetings, educational programs for entrepreneurship and startup businesses. We do a lot of pitching and a lot of seed funding projects. So we have a lot of people interested in seed capital coming in here to find investors and pitch their ideas. We facilitate also other kind of projects like photography and silk screen workshops and all kinds of educational programs. But we also do cool concerts and events so that people know and the city knows the place for the cultural activity. So it works also in a mix. It's half of the time is like startup and creative businesses, and half of the time is it's culture. So we try in this way to keep the place relevant for the city and for the creative ecosystem. You've been in the room next door, which is the Everyday Cafe, as I already told you. And below that, we will go now and pass through there, is our club area where we do club events. So it's like the most kind of late night type of activity we host. We have regular events happening here, which again, the idea is that this way makes the building related to young people and also brings in all the creative community, and they have a reason for being here all day, even after work, which is really important for the place. So let's go and see a bit the club venue. You can see around the place like old television sets, for example, which used to be the video wall from an old Skiladiko. That's how we call the Greek entertainment centers. For a pop Greek singer back in the 80s, and we found in the trash and we renovated. Or further in the back, you can see a vintage LED wall coming from the old stock exchange market. In general, we like obsolete media and old technology because we think that it tackles how modern society changes. The place here has been many times modified by the previous owners, but we have also modified in a way that doesn't look, but can facilitate our function. So you can walk around the venue with different ways, but also you can see really strange things. For example, we found under the walls those yellow tiles. We kind of cleared and revealed, and this used to be the normal floor level for the building, but somewhere in the way, the previous owners had to put in here a folding machine for the paper that was too high to fit. So they had to take off the floor and raise it again. This shows also how many times the building itself has been modified to facilitate its function. It's really interesting for us because we like architecture. Okay, so here is our small meeting room, but also next to it is a small studio where we work all day. We used to be in the first floor of the building, but we had to give also that for a new entrepreneurial project, so we moved in the basement. So here, for example, we do meetings all day. We do again like workshop for seed screen and other kind of stuff. But right now, for example, we facilitate from here. We're preparing an exhibition for the Greek Graphic Design Awards. So these are all the awards that haven't been yet announced. So if anyone is curious enough to see, but it's just us with computers, next to here is our office, you can have a look. And then we can go up the stairs and go visit some offices. So we already passed through our exhibition space. So just to help you understand a bit the structure of the building, it's split in two main functions. And it's actually until the first floor where we do mostly like events and cultural activity, and it's split like half of time is cultural activities, as I already told you, and half of time is facilitating the needs of the rest of the building. And the second, third, and fourth floor facilitate most new startup businesses. So right now we are on the second floor, which is the starting point for the Creative Hub, as we call it. We are the only active Creative Hub in Athens, and we are also the founders of the European Creative Hubs Network. We represent right now for the European Union 267 Creative Hubs across 37 cities across Europe. I don't know where exactly you're from, but I think that from all the countries you're coming from, there is a Creative Hub there that is normally represented in our network. So a Creative Hub is a place for new business, but mostly it's for creative businesses. And it's really hard sometimes to explain to someone what a creative business is. It's this kind of businesses, then it's like design, all kind of design. Design includes graphic design, graphics in general, but also service design, which is how you do things, how you serve something to someone. So this is a really broad idea that it's really important and crucial in the modern world. We host all these kind of businesses and all the satellite things that need to happen around this. So for example, we have also a group of accountants, lawyers, but that usually again are interested about creative business and creative people. The first floor here mostly hosts scholarships. So we have an extended scholarship program. Right now we are hosting 27 new businesses in a scholarship model. And the idea is that it's usually young people that are starting something interesting and creative, and usually we run public contests to select and find the people we want to give the scholarships to.
What are the specifications for someone to get a scholarship?
Now the criteria. Okay, one of the criteria is the age, which is it's not our preferred criteria on a personal, because the rest of the hub doesn't have an age range, but usually you have to be young in terms of age, which it's strange, I don't agree with this policy, but you have to be from 18, because there are legal issues under 18, and until 28 years old.
28.
Yes, to apply for a scholarship program. Then the rest, you actually usually the methodology that we follow is that you apply with a portfolio, and according to your activity, we try to categorize first your portfolio and then try to make a nice group of people. I mean, which also makes some kind of sense. So we have split the creative ecosystem in 5 types of businesses. And we're trying to have equal parts of all kind of creative business. In this way, we wouldn't end up being a photography kind of building or a programmer's building, which we don't like and we don't want, because we really believe that a lot of the creative process grows and changes through interaction of people. And the best that you have like a type of activities, the more, yes. So by walking up, you will notice that there are 2 holes across the building that you will notice next to the ladders that we had to open up in the building to bring the light in, because it was a really dimmed down place here when we got in. And all the changes we've made have been made in a way that you can tell. So that's, if it feels that it's an old building, we've been trying to keep the look and feel of it, because we really like the aesthetic and the general idea, but because of legal issue, we didn't get any license to make the place. And that was a way to cut through the time that we needed to get in the venue and get it going. So as we walk around, I will try to open up some places, and I will try to explain some things that we are too many and normally wouldn't fit. Please don't touch things, because it's not our offices and we're not allowed to touch. I will try to explain it. Yes. Let's go. One of the scholarship programs in here is one of the artists in residence, and he's developing those cutouts that you can see everywhere around, and they are made from thin paper. So he does these constructions that he cuts out with a cutter, parts of the paper creating those designs. And so they are really fragile. Well, that's why I told you to be careful before entering. And if you look from a distance, you might also see that there are images hidden inside these cutouts. In this room, in general, there are facilitated 4 different designers, and they're part of a scholarship program. And we're trying to mix fashion designers with fine arts and some new media. And we're trying in this way to make them interact with each other and maybe change also the perception in their art, but also facilitate their everyday practice. Is a designer that we host again, and she's using a digital loom, which is really interesting because the loom doing traditional weaving but with the use of informatics. So she's using a computer to make new designs, and she's trying to find new ways to do traditional kind of applications. You can see some small examples around the walls. Important, which is also social businesses, which is another sector that we added up in the way. Here we host also some social businesses that mostly have to do about immigration and immigrants' rights, which is an important issue for Greece, but also for the particular area. Here the area is mostly Indian and Pakistani people. Living around the neighborhood. You can smell the curry, I hope. Yeah. That's what it smells, and it's from their places all the way around. So we're trying to facilitate all their needs, and we're doing a lot of events with them. We do a lot of food events, of course. We've been doing food events inside the venue here, but also we've been trying to promote the exotic side of the area and publicize it across the city, and invite Athenians to visit those places, because usually there are kind of cut-off places from the rest of the city. So they tend to form a ghetto, which is not nice and it's not really inclusive. So we try to tackle this issue and find solutions about it. And we also have a really good Wi-Fi, because here for the needs of the building there is an optic fiber network directly with the central backbone of the. So it's really fast. So what we've established also a really big Wi-Fi antenna that it's open for the whole of the neighborhood here. So most of the immigrants use our network to get in and see their local news, Al Jazeera, for example. So usually monitoring our network, almost 70% of our capacity goes for the neighborhood, which is a really interesting statistic. So usually it's about voice communication for the families that still live abroad, or for seeing the news and so on. Apart from that, in this building we're doing a lot of film production. Most of the new films that are produced in Greece, all the pre-production, the preparation happens here. The last movie of Theodoros Angelopoulos, who recently died, happened here, which was a famous director. But also we have all the new generation of Greek cinematographers that do all their pre-production here. And now we have a movie, here Midnight Pictures that we see here. They're not unfortunately right now here, so we would see what they're doing. They're film distributors and distributing alternative cinema also from abroad, and Syria, for example. And so Dionysis is a graphic designer. He's mostly doing graphic design the last years, but he's been shifting also to media design, so he's designing websites, but now he's also filming and doing advertising films. So he's becoming slowly a cinematographer and a photographer. And the last couple of months also he's been describing that he had the need to produce sound for his project. So he bought a new synthesizer that I also wanted to see. He's a typical example also of the creative people around the building and how they're trying and what they're trying to do. room we have two artists in residence, and it's a program that we've been running for the last year. Is one Greek artist together with one international artist. Is anyone Italian from the room?
Yes.
Okay, we have Georgia from Italy. She's a sound designer and she's into new media arts. Her name is Georgia Peluso, and it's a new media art piece that it evolves of a moving sculpture, a big scale moving culture that usually moves around New Media Arts Festival. And Stratos is the Greek artist, Stratos Bikrakis, and he's a sound engineer, but also is a programmer, and he's designing electronics, and he works also for the only Greek company that produces Greek synthesizers. So he's been producing for her sensors that according to the movement, because it's a moving sculpture, according to the movement of the sculpture, they change the sound. So it's a generative sound combination together with a moving sculpture. So that's how those two artists work together. The rest of the rooms in the building, we have two new media businesses. Tito and Friends are a web design service business, mostly based in Berlin. And we have them here. They're really important for us because they were the first company from abroad that came to us, asked for a residency here to use our creative community. So they have their offices here, but they mostly exploit all the creative talents across the building, which is really interesting. We have also another company which is called Athens Partnership, and it's the funding link between funders and the municipality of Athens. So it's the most strange for us and not related in a way, but also really important because they have all the formal links for the government and this kind of projects. Also, just to tell you a bit more of type of businesses we have here that I didn't tell you about. For example, we have Schooligans. It's a company that has to do, it's made from teachers, and it mostly handles all the student bands. So anything that has to do with student bands, they're trying to facilitate and help. They're doing also a festival every year, school concerts across Greece, but they're also trying to facilitate and help music education in schools and music in general for young people and accessibility for music. And we're running with them right now a program about music education and immigrants. Let's go also on the terrace, and that's over, and then we won't walk up more. The last stop. Here we do a lot of summer parties during summertime, but one of the important activities that we did last year, but now it's over. We did a 2-on-2 basketball championship. That's why you can see also that we used to function a small basketball court, but it's been really successful. And we've run this program with Generation 2.0, which is a social inclusion company that we established here to promote the second generation immigrants' rights, because until recently, second generation immigrants didn't have any legal documents. So even though they would be born in Greece, they wouldn't have any kind of legal rights from the home country, but even from here. So they would be totally stuck. Our organization has in total right now 3 venues. That's our second venue. Our very first venue is just a bit further down the street, and it's a cultural venue where we mostly run new media arts and theater. And last year we opened up also an urban garden further down Keramikos, really nearby here. And it's open during the day, so I would suggest if you have some free time to go and hang around there. It's really 3 minutes walk from here, and has cool beers and drinks and everything. And it's a skate ramp in an urban garden. So we do a lot of sports events there, mostly skate, as you might understand. And it's also together with a bar, so it's a social meeting point for the neighborhood there. To create a fourth venue, which is going to be an extended residency program, because we have a lot of requests from people coming from abroad to come work and play with the people around the creative community of Athens. So that's it. So thank you very much for visiting. Thank you.
building behind us, it's called BIOS. Basic input-output system, if you know computers. This is the first building that Vasilis Charalambidis, that was talking to us before, started. This is how he started. He created this. It was an old building. He built a bar. There is a theater room next to it. It has the whole building. Okay, on the roof there is a perfect bar and cafeteria if you want, with the view of the Acropolis. So this is how it all started. And now he has 3 businesses and he's preparing his 4th. So that's why I wanted to tell you. It's a huge cultural center. We have seen many festivals here. We had so much fun. Such a good time. So
Let's have fun too.
that's why we love this guy, and that's why we wanted you to see this.